yesterday you said we stopped on number 5 or 6. Is that what you said?
Stopped at 7.
We stopped at 7.
Stopped on 7? Okay, so let's pick up there. Okay. So did we actually do 7?
Yes.
Okay, so we're on number 8. What 2 events took place in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania in the same year, and why was each event significant or important? What 2 events took place in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and why were they significant or important? No, we're just going to answer these now, okay? What 2 events took place, you guys? Looking at our timeline, somebody had this question actually. Number 8. Number 8. So what were the 2 events? Yes, sir. Right, last Confederate invasion of the North, okay? It is the last time that the South will try to go forward, to go to the North, okay? Remember we used a football analogy, okay? We used the football analogy and we said the South decided to do what to their line?
Spread it out.
What did they decide to do? Think about football. If you cannot make yardage, what is the one thing you want to do?
Spread out.
You want to stand your ground. You want to hold that line, right? So the South decided to hold its line. After this is the last time that they will try to move forward and gain yardage going north. After this, they decide to hold their line. Okay? It's right there in your timeline, babe. Okay? So the Confederates, this is the last time the Confederates will try to invade northward. Okay? So that's one key event. And why is this important? Why is this important? Why do you think this is important? Say that again.
4 months later,
Okay, so the second event would be the Gettysburg Address. And what does Lincoln say in his Gettysburg Address? What does Lincoln say in his Gettysburg Address? Right, he encourages Americans to stay strong. Okay, he encourages Americans to stay strong. Everybody got that? All right. So the 2 events that take place is we have the last time the Confederates will try to invade the North, okay? And they are defeated there, okay? They are defeated. All right. So that's what's important or significant. And then we have the Gettysburg Address, and that's where Lincoln encourages the nation to stay strong, okay? All right, let's look at number 9. Number 9. When and where did the Civil War end? When and where did the Civil War end? Yes, sir.
The Civil War was from 1861.
No. When and where did it end, babe?
1864. The Civil War ended in 1865 at Appomattox, Virginia's courthouse.
Very good. Okay. Very good. 1865 and Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. Very good. (1865) Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. Number 10. Describe 3 changes to the Constitution after the Civil War that improved the lives of African Americans. Joseph, did you want to answer that one?
Slavery was outlawed.
Okay, so we have the 13th Amendment, abolished slavery. Yes. Next 2.
I think the other one was all men were created equal.
Okay, so we have the 14th Amendment that says what?
All men were created equal.
Right, that everyone has
Rights.
rights. citizenship, that African Americans will have full citizenship and equal civil and legal rights. And then we have, what's the third one? Not yet, yes, but thank you.
The 15th Amendment assures that no citizen will be denied rights to vote.
Right, that African American men or citizens will not be prohibited from voting based on race. Okay, so it basically gave African American men the right to vote. So we have 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, and 15th Amendment. Those are the three changes that occurred that improved life for African Americans. Okay, abolished slavery, said that African Americans were given citizenship and had the same civil rights as everyone else, and that 15th Amendment that granted African males the right to vote. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, everybody got that? All right, let's look at number 11. How did Congress try to keep the Union together? 3/5 compromise, Missouri compromise, Kansas-Nebraska Act. How do they try to keep the Union together? Three-fifth compromise, Missouri compromise.
Okay, so compromise.
What is it?
The red compromise. But never mind.
Yes.
They kept trying to compromise with each other.
Right. Gary, say that a little louder so everybody can hear you better.
They kept trying to compromise with each other.
Right. The North and the South kept trying to compromise with each other. Eventually, it doesn't work. Okay? Each side begins to stand, and remember, we did this progression. Remember, I kept saying, can't we see the progression of this thing getting worse and worse? And we just kept seeing it, like they're bumping shoulders. And after a while, they're like, okay, that's it. We're done. They're done with bumping shoulders. Okay? They're ready to really scrap. Okay? And that's what it does. It ends up leading to this Civil War where they basically scrap. Okay? So they try to keep the Union together by compromising, but after a while, both begin to stand their ground. Okay? It's kind of like a U of L and U of K fan. Okay? I am a true U of L fan. Some of you are true U of K fans. Are we going to switch to the other side? No, there's no compromise there. I am a U of L fan. I don't care how many times they lose. I'm a U of L fan. How many of you UK fans? You probably don't care how many times they lose. You're a UK fan. There is no compromise there when it comes to switching teams, okay? Now, we may agree to disagree and say, hey, I have respect for your team, but I'm a U of L fan, okay? And when you reach that point where you stand your ground and you are not willing to give a little or take a little, it ends up in a Civil War like it did, okay? Neither one was willing to give and take anymore, okay? All right. 12. Most people in 1861 expected the North to easily defeat the South and quickly win the war. Why? What were some of the advantages that the North had? Yes.
Industries to make weapons.
Right, they had industry. What else? Yes.
In addition to making weapons, they fought offensively and the South fought defensively, but
Okay.
that caused 600,000 deaths in the 4-year process.
Okay. So what would them fighting an offensive war, would that be a benefit or not a benefit?
That would be a benefit.
Okay. Part of it may be a benefit. What part would be a benefit? Yeah.
Oh wait, I think
If they're fighting offensively, what would that mean? The war would be where? Yes. In the South. So that part might be a benefit. But what is the downside of fighting offensively? Yes.
They could get since they're in the South, they could get surrounded.
Right. So the South is going to know the terrain better, the land, the layout, all of that, right? That's the downfall. You're right. It would be a benefit that it's not on your own soil, okay? So you don't have the havoc of it being on your soil. However, the downfall of that is, man, they've got to travel there. Now, what was one of the benefits? What benefit did they have of traveling there now? They had the railroads. So remember we looked at the video, and instead of it taking days, it took a matter of maybe hours. Okay? Remember us looking at that and seeing that? So that was the benefit that they had. But it's always easier when you're defending than when you're on the offense, okay? So, and that was one of the big issues. Really, the North had industry on their side. They had the railroads. Lincoln, he used the telegraph to maximum benefit. So when you look at this thing, it's really lopsided. You think North, man, it's going to be quick. They're going to go in. They're going to give them a good old-fashioned spanking, and they're going to roll on out. But they didn't. It took 4 years. And it took 4 years because the South were fighting a defensive war. It was their area, and they were passionate about how they felt as well. So they were not going to be a foe that was going to, or an enemy that was going to go down easy. Okay? Yes?
Didn't the video say it would like took from months of marching to like days of just on the railroad?
Right, right. Depending on where you were in the North, it might take days, but some places it might take a matter of hours, just depending on where you were in the North. Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. So, and we just basically answered number 12. Why did the war last for 4 years? Well, because they were fighting on their own territory and turf. Okay. Yes. Yeah. All right. All right, you guys, you can put these away. You can put these away. We are getting ready now to do another activity dealing with this whole westward expansion. We talked about how the telegraph and the railroads were very important and crucial to Lincoln winning the war. And so today we're going to do an activity on Morse code. Now we won't have the machines where we can, but we're going to do a simulation of it, okay? And the other classes have really enjoyed this activity, so hopefully you will too. You will need a piece of paper. You will need a piece of paper. What's the first thing we do when we get our paper? What's the first thing we do when we get our paper? On the first line, we put our first and last name, and then we put our, on the second line, that's where we put our, and don't forget to put it.
Even if it's late.
On the third line, that's where our period goes. Uno, dos, tres, four, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the last line, that's where we title it. Math quiz, vocab. I know you get the gist. What's the first thing we do when we get our paper?
In the proper name.
Today you are going to label this MC activity. MC activity. MC activity. We're going to first start out by giving you, I'm going to show you a short video with the history of Morse code, and then from there we will go on and do our activity that we have planned, okay? So first we will which wrong, Jada? Okay.
Don't they put Morse code on the outside of the door?
No, baby. What is that called that they put up? We talked about that earlier. What is that called that they have outside the door?
Braille.
Braille. And what is Braille used for?
One people to read.
Exactly. Okay. But that I get why you said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good question though. Very good question.
Miss Parker,
Yes, baby.
so you know how like Trump's been firing all these people? You think he's scared he's gonna get caught?
He's scared he's gonna get what, baby?
Get caught?
What do you mean called?
Cause like you know how they're like investigating who's been talking to Russia? Like during his campaign and then he's kind of fired.
I don't know. All right, you guys. Here's the video. Here's the video.
The origins of Morse code are after Samuel P. Morse missed the death of his wife due to a delay in communication, and had begun to work on a device that would change communication as we know it. In 1836, with the help of Alfred Vail, physicist Joseph Henry, his dream soon came to fruition. But for Morse, problems soon emerged. What to broadcast on this new invention? Morse's machine ran on pulses of electric current and was unable to send voice messages. But Morse soon realized that he could transmit a code based on these currents and the blank time in between them. Soon, Morse set to work on creating a code for his new machine based on numerals to be then translated by the operators. However, Morse's partner in the project, Alfred Vail, soon stepped in. Together, the two created a code consisting of several dots and dashes, representing each letter in the alphabet. On May 24th, 1844, Morse sent the first message in Morse code. What hath God wrought? Originally, Morse and Vail's plan had been to print the codes onto a paper, which was to be taken and translated by the operators. However, soon those who used Morse's system discovered they could listen to the raw signal that was being received and make a better translation from this raw signal. This discovery eventually became a standard among telegraphs. The speed being evident to man, Morse's code and telegraph ended up playing an important role in history while still in its infant state, some of which included ending the Pony Express, helping the North win the Civil War, and allowing Nevada to enter the Union when its Constitution was sent to Washington by Morse code. By the 1890s, the telegraph had expanded with communication possible between continents with undersea cables, and soon, with the help of Mr. Marconi and his wonderful machine, wireless communication between ships and land, and eventually air was soon possible. Unfortunately for Samuel Morse, it was not his code that was now circumnavigating the globe. It was International Morse code, created in 1848 by Frederick Clemens Girk, after he noticed disadvantages with the code created by Morse. What Girk had done was simplify the code, in the process changing about half of Morse's original code. Soon, after a few more changes, this revised code was adopted by the international community as standard, sentencing Morse's original to an obscure secondary code known as American Morse code. International Morse code, eventually in the 1930s, became required on all airplanes and had become a military necessity.
Rhythm is indeed the key to good sending. If your code is to mean anything to others in the radio net, then you've got to send rhythmically.
However, by this point, Morse code was beginning to near the end of its life, thanks to advancements in the telephone and radio. However, the code continued to persist until 1999, when the code was replaced as the International Maritime Communication Standard.
Yes, ma'am, she's on it.
The Global Maritime Distress System. The final nail in the coffin came on July 12, 1999, when the last commercial transmittance of Morse code was sent out in the United States, with the very first words that were sent by Morse in 1844. What hath God wrought? This triggered the downfall of Morse code in the world, and it was on July 14, 2013, that the very last telegraph in the world was sent out in India and becoming too costly. Today, Morse code has been replaced with text messages, cell phones, and social networking. Although it may be gone, it still lives on in its very replacements, as well in several museums and institutions around the world.
All right. So that's the history of Morse code. And again, we talked about the fact that it is really one of the two elements that really helped Lincoln win the war. Okay? Go ahead and open the blinds just a little bit, not too far, because we got right there. Should be great. Okay? All right, you guys. So let's look at, did I pass out the Morse code sheets? Not yet. Yes, baby, pass them back, please.
She won't be using that party much.
All right, you guys. So I'm gonna do one of these, and we're gonna do one together, and then you're gonna do it on your own, okay? So don't start yet, okay? Number your paper 1 through 8. 1 through 8, okay? The first one is actually, matter of fact, do it 1 through 7, and then on the top do an example, okay? Do an example. So 1 through 8, and then 1 through 7, and then do an example one, okay? So for the first one, I've decided I'm going to do my last name, okay? I'm going to do my last name. So look at the P. Look at the P. Now, what is the P? Right, dot, dash, dash, dot. I left a little space so that I can put my next letter. What's my next letter in my last name?
B.
A. So I'm going to put dash, dot. And then for R, I'm going to do dot, dash, dot. For K, dash, dot, dash. For E, just a dot. And then R, dot, dash, dot. So that's my last name, Parker. Now, for your example, we're going to do the abbreviation for our school. What is the abbreviation for our school?
NMS.
NMS. Write those letters. Make sure you leave a space in between. Okay, so for N, what would N be? Dot, dash. We leave a little space. What's M?
Dash, dash.
Dash, dash. We leave a space, and then what's S? Dot, dot, dot. Okay, that's the example. Now, I'm going to show you a series of 7 questions. You're going to answer them using Morse code. Do not write the answer. So outside of your Morse code, just only put the code. Does that make sense? You're only going to have the code on your paper, not any letters. Just the code. Anybody have any questions on that? Does everybody understand what I'm asking you to do? Okay. Intel, explain to the class what I just said to do.
Write the Morse code answers.
Right, you're going to write the Morse code answers to the questions that I present to you. Okay? So, like the example, I said write the abbreviation for our school. What was the abbreviation for our school? NMS. And remember, we looked on here and we looked up N and you put dot. Do you have that on your paper? Nope, you don't write NMS. You just put the Morse code for it. Yep, you got the N. M. Put a little space. What's the M?
Dash, dash.
Okay, and then S. Yes, sir. So those questions that I asked you, you're going to put them just in Morse code. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Pass this back, please. All right, number 1. Number 1. Write your name. Write your name. First name only. First name only. Write your name using Morse code. First name only. If you need help, please raise your hand. Make sure you leave a space in between letters so that they don't run together and the person can decipher what you've written. Yes, baby. Say that again. Just your first name. Okay? Just your first name. That gray is kind of hard to see up there. First name only.
how to spell your name.
Joseph, that's a problem. You don't remember how to spell your name. Do we need a little bit more time? Okay.
Miss Parker?
Yes, ma'am.
Your hair is actually pretty long. I don't know how to think about it. You're real here, not the.
You won't catch Miss Parker with extensions. All right, the next question. Next question. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite color? Only one color. Only one color. What's your favorite color? This is number 2. Only one. Yep, number 2, baby. What's your favorite color? Yes, baby. Talk to me. What is it? Just put the color. Just put. Bless you. Need a little bit more time? Okay. No problem. All right, next question. Next question. How old are you? How old are you? How old are you?
And they have already done his already.
Thank you. How old are you? Take a look. No, just start where we are. How old are you? Need a little bit more time? Okay. So the next one is name a rival school. And you're only going to put the initials. So it would be JTA, BGMS, EHS, WHMS, EHMS.
What's the initials?
Okay. So, just the initials. Just the initials of a rival school. Just the initials of a rival school. We ready? Okay, the next one. We only have 2 more, you guys. Oh no, 3 more, I'm sorry. Are you excited about going to high school? Whether it be NHHS or JHHS, yes or no? Are you excited about going to high school, yes or no? I'm changing that color at the bottom because it's hard for you guys to see that. Are you excited about going to high school, yes or no? Okay, the next question is use one word to describe yourself. Only one word. Use one word to describe yourself. Only one word to describe you. So like Miss Parker would say, for me, if I was describing me, quiet. I would say I'm quiet. Would that be accurate?
No.
That would not. One word to, and like if you're jazzy, you would say
Rude. Just a Jasmine. She's just a lady.
Jasmine. That's what happens when you're super quiet.
Mine's really accurate.
Have you always been that quiet, Jasmine?
She is not quiet.
Well, in class she is. That's okay.
You haven't seen the secretaries? Yeah, I would look at this. Mine's a little bit too accurate.
All right, let's go to our last one. Our last one is your favorite sport, and you can only choose one. Favorite sport, and you can only choose one. Only one. So for me, it would be basketball because I can dunk.
She's as tall as Jordan.
That's right. Jordan and I are the same
Age.
You said age. All right, so favorite sport, only one. So let's go back and review these so you can make sure you have them all, okay? Let's go back and review them. Number one was write your first name, okay? Write your first name. That was number one. Number two, favorite color. Number three, your age. How old are you? Number three, name a rival school. Name a rival school. The next one was, are you excited about going to high school? Yes or no? Use one word to describe yourself. Only one word. And last, your favorite sport. Okay? Favorite sport. So what you're going to do is you're going to now get up and you're going to exchange papers with someone. It's not going to be your BFF that you're going to exchange your paper with, okay? I want you to exchange your paper. I want you to take someone that's not next to you. I want you to exchange your paper with someone maybe across the room that you normally don't hang out with. And they're going to use their code to decipher what you've written, and you're going to use your code to decipher what they've written. You've got 5 minutes. Go.
I'm an expert now.
Hey, what's your name? Where do we write this at? Are we supposed to write it down?
Yes, write it on their piece of paper. Write it on their piece of paper.
Wait, Miss Parker, when we found someone, what did you guys do?
Huh?
You said this time.
We are.
Use your
I don't know.
above it, beside it, whatever, doesn't matter. Just write on their paper what code they put on there. Yeah, trade with someone. Thank you.
Jesse. Yeah.
Okay, you can write it above or you can write it beside, whatever you want to do, okay?
What was the second question?
The second question was favorite color. Third one was age. Fourth one was rival school. Fifth one was, are you excited about going to high school? One word description and favorite sport. So use your code to decipher what they've written. Second question, favorite color.
I can't find her favorite.
Yes. Huh?
Actually, I found
Does anybody, Lucas needs someone to trade with.
I'll trade with him.
Thank
Are
you.
we allowed to do like a 30% trade?
That's fine. I don't care. That's fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, we're just gonna circle him.
Appreciate you. Oh my, we didn't even have 5 minutes. All right, you guys, listen to the instructions, please. I want you to pass in your Morse code papers and pass up the handout. Pass pass in your Morse code papers and pass in the handout. Pass up the handout. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Quickly, quickly. Pass those in. Pass these up. Those go in, baby.
I can, I will. I am, I can, I will. I am, I can, I will. Struggle is real. The struggle is real. The struggle is real.
You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Make sure you turn in your Morse code paper. Thank you. Have a great day.
Give it to her.
Have a good day.
That's coming out for Xbox.
What is?
So you turn in your paper, baby.
It's gonna take me so long to make that thing.